Hello everyone, it's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be talking about Star Wars Resistance. This is episode 8, and I can say from the last episode, and if you have been keeping up with the way that I do these Star Wars Resistance reviews, I talk and explain it the way I would explain something to my friends. So, basically, before last episode, every single episode was just awful. That's the nicest way of putting it. They were just garbage. And the last episode, if you just watch that episode in isolation, and that would have been, if that was like the introduction to the show, they would have started off very strong. But because last episode was the 7th episode, and it took 7 episodes before it finally had a decent episode, it's not saying too much for the show. Now, as I've been watching every episode, it's become more and more clear that the main character, Kaz, there's nothing much up in here. He's not the brightest bulb. He's the comedic relief, and it's been popular in comedies when, the main character isn't the brightest and, they're the funny one, and that's when movies are comedies. Like if you watch Step Brothers, both of them, they're not the brightest guys, but they're hilarious to watch, and especially with the banter between them, it's hilarious. That's why Step Brothers is considered, a great comedy movie. This, however, is not a comedy. This is Star Wars and supposed to be in serious situations. I understand the fact that and their excuse is, we're trying to market this to children, so let's make the main character funny. It's like, okay, let's go back and watch the Clone Wars. Anakin Skywalker, that's a very serious character. Ahsoka Tano, again, very serious. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda. Even though Yoda is a little bit silly, but we got that in The Empire Strikes Back, when you're introduced to Yoda, and he's kind of, this weird little alien, but when Yoda gets serious, it's like, this is business right now. Yoda is talking, Yoda has the floor, Yoda is going to drop some knowledge, and you take that seriously. And yeah, when you watch the first episode of the Clone Wars, it's a Yoda episode, and he is being kind of silly, but there's intelligence behind his sarcasm. Now with Kaz, there doesn't seem to be any intelligence. The only thing that this kid knows how to do is to wake up and talk about wanting to be a racer. And when we do see him fly, he does actually know how to fly. So that's the only thing that this guy's got going for him. And in these episodes, it's very obvious that everyone knows that he's an idiot, and you kind of have to rely on the other characters to get the plot going. He's kind of dumb and he stumbles through and makes stuff happen, and everyone else has to fix it. So if that's the character that they've established through 8 episodes now, it's kind of sad that that's what you're going to ride on as your main character. This is usually a side character, and the main character is the one that's helping them out. But this is the way that they decided to go. I can't change it. It's already written. These are how the episodes are going, so I'm just going to talk about it. So in this episode, he's all excited because there's some news, and Yeager, who is the character, he's supposed to be, the kind of older and wiser character that is housing Kaz, because Kaz is supposed to be a spy, trying to find a spy, even though in every single episode he has not done any of that. Even that's the whole plot of the show, is that Kaz is there to find a spy, yet he has not done anything to do it. But this episode, somebody's coming to the station, and Kaz is excited, and guess what? It's Yeager's brother. So the little bit that we know about Yeager, and now we're going to introduce the fact that he has a brother, and then Kaz is all excited. He goes, oh, it's Yeager. Or actually, he doesn't know. I'm getting my plot points mixed up. So he's just excited because the racer's there, and the racer's gonna, spoiler alert, by the way, it's his brother. It's the guy's brother, but he doesn't know that. Kaz doesn't know that yet. So he's just excited that the racer's there, and so Yeager comes, and he's just like, oh, the captain wants to see me. So they all go up to see the captain. Apparently, after the last episode, there's no damage. They're not going to work on that. They're just kind of skimming over that. They'll probably come back to this later, but this is just an episode, this is a character building episode for Yeager, not the main character. What a big surprise. So they go up, captain's like, oh yeah, let me introduce you to this there's going to be this big race. It's going to bring in a lot of money because we need money. So yeah, it's going to do great for the economy. We want you to race. And Yeager's like, I don't race anymore. That's not who I am. I'm, older. I put that aside when I was younger. And then this dude comes walking down, and he's just like, oh yeah, and Kaz talked about him earlier, Yeager's brother, just spoiler alert. And what is this guy's name? It was the most stupidest name I've heard. And they comment on it. Marcus Speedstar. That is this guy's name. This character's name is Marcus Speedstar. Just that right there. So this guy comes down, and he kind of looks like Black Panther because his suit, like, it's a black suit with, like, the purple. So I'm like, okay, they're really trying to push the purple is, for boys now. Which, I mean, it always has been. There's no problem with boys liking purple. Not saying that. I'm just saying that they're going with the same design because it looks very similar to Black Panther. And so he comes down, he's like, yo, what's up, Yeager? And Yeager's just like, go away. Like, I don't want to talk to you. And then this is when the characters find out that that is Yeager's brother, and there's something that happened between them. Yeager doesn't want to have anything to do with them. Yeager doesn't want to race, and so everyone is kind of confused. And of course, Kaz being Kaz, he wants to get to the bottom of it. So Yeager's just like, no, I'm not racing, and takes off. Then Marcus Speedstar is chilling at the little cantina, and people are buying him drinks. He's like, no, you guys don't have to buy me drinks. And he had just finished telling Yeager that he changed, and that he wants to see his brother, and that he came here for him, which we all kind of have the feeling that that's kind of BS. So then he's just chilling there. He's got his, like, alien dude and his little droid, and he's, am I getting this out of order? I feel like I paused this a couple times, but, so, yeah, so he's at the bar, then the, whatchamacallit, these guys in the red suits, and they got the circle for the eye. They look like stormtroopers, except for instead of having eyes, they got circles. So there, I guess he did something shady to them, and he borrowed money, and he owes them money or something. So they come and they get his alien companion, and they're like, you gotta pay us back or we're gonna kill him. Alright, cool, kids show. Let's just show somebody about to get, X'd out of the equation because one guy was shady and owes them money. So we know that Yeager's brother's shady. Aside from the part that Yeager himself has said, oh, this dude is shady, now we know he owes some money to some bad people and they're willing to kill his companion. Speaking of his companion, so all of the aliens in this show are, in a way, they're not the brightest bulbs. And this is something that's very bothersome because in the original Star Wars universe, and the original trilogy, the aliens, they weren't stupid like the aliens in this show. Like Chewbacca, that's Han Solo's co-pilot. Like that's his number one guy. Chewbacca can fix the ship by himself. He doesn't need Han Solo. But they work together because they're best friends. And you never once get the inclination that Chewbacca is not an intelligent being. Just because he doesn't speak, basic, doesn't mean he's not intelligent. And he shows that. He's a very, prominent part of Star Wars. Then you see other aliens like Master Yoda. Yes, I said Yoda is sarcastic, but he has the intelligence to back up his sarcasms. And he puts on that front, and he's like, people don't take him seriously because he's a small little alien. But then he brings out the wisdom and the lightsaber, and it's like, oh, shoot. This guy means business kind of thing. You take them seriously. The rebellion was built up of a lot of aliens because that was the big thing. The Emperor didn't trust aliens. And even when you bring in characters like Thrawn, the Emperor put him out the edge of the universe because he had that, prejudice against aliens. So, and they keep on bringing that back that, aliens, they're not just meant to be pushed aside. They're not meant to be these comedic relief characters. They're very intelligent and they bring something to the table. And that is one of the things that unites the rebellion, is that they all put aside their differences and they work together to overcome the greatest evil ever known in the galaxy. And in this new sequel era of Star Wars, they just kind of look at the characters as, they're not the brightest, and they're kind of there for you to laugh at them. I would say the exception would be Maz Kanata, but I mean, I'm not very drawn to her character. She's not that interesting of an alien, but she is supposed to be, the wise old woman. So in that aspect, I think is the only time that they've gotten it right in the sequel trilogy. But as far as this TV show is concerned, all of the aliens that they've introduced, they're not the brightest, and they're just constantly being made fools of. Although in Resistance, they have shown the most amount of alien species that we have seen as compared to the sequel movies, because the movies revolve around the main cast and not the aliens, which I think is a very big disadvantage that they gave themselves. But again, this is just my opinion. So, off that little tangent, let's get back to the plot. So his alien companion is taken, and yes, it's kind of made to be, you know, a comedic thing, but whatever, especially the dumb alien Niku is just like, oh, we are friends, I would give him my second heart, but yeah, it's dumb. So then he, Kaz and the girl are trying to be like, oh, well, to Yeager, well, you couldn't beat your brother. He's the best racer in the galaxy, which apparently they say about every character, but whatever. So they're just like, yeah, you couldn't beat him. And Yeager's like, I 100% would beat him. I'm just not going to race him because we agreed a long time ago that we wouldn't race each other because something bad happened in the past and we're not going to race each other anymore. So they're just like, oh, well, you know what? You're not doing it. So, yeah, you're just proving yourself wrong. I mean, obviously, if you went out and raced him, then we would get our answer, but since you're not racing him, we have to assume that he's the best. And of course, this is them trying to bait Yeager to go race him, and so Yeager takes the bait, even though he's a very intelligent character, and he takes it because plot. So he's just like, you know what, fine. I'm going to go challenge my brother, and then we will see if he will race me, which he won't because he always backs down whenever I challenge him because he knows I'm better. So Yeager goes off, and they all come, and he's just like, yo, Marcus, I challenge you. And Marcus just got hounded by, you know, those alien dudes in the red armor that are just like, we're gonna kill your friend if you don't pay us, and he needs the money from the race. So of course he's just like, yeah, sure, I'll race you, brother. And then everyone gets all excited because everyone wants to see Yeager race, and of course they're in the bar in front of all the people, so everyone starts betting on them, and it's gonna be this big thing that Yeager's finally gonna race. And so all the characters are like, whoa, Yeager, you said he wasn't gonna race you, and now he is. And then Yeager's just like kind of shocked, but then he's like, alright, I got myself into this like a man. He's just like, all right, I got myself into this. I gotta hold myself to my word. So he leaves to go fix his ship. And then as he's leaving, his brother chases after him. He's like, no, Yeager, you don't understand. I have to win this. I have to win this. Instead of telling him, like any normal person, I'm in trouble, I need the money, or, you know, whoever wins, can I have the money so I can save my friend's life? Yeager is a very reasonable person. If you tell him your friend's life is at stake, if he wins, he'll 100% help you out. But no, plot logic out the window. So, the brother's just like, I need to win this. I need to. I am going to race you, brother. And Yeager's just like, well, you're going to lose because you always lose against me and you don't care about anyone but yourself. And this, honestly, this episode came out like the day after Thanksgiving, so family drama. Who would have known? Perfect timing for this episode, wouldn't you say? So, Yeager's off, gonna go fix his ship, and then his brother's just like, but you don't understand, they took my mechanic. And then he's just like, well, you can have Kaz, he's my best mechanic. And so Kaz goes off with Marcus. And then Tam just says to Yeager, she's like, your best mechanic? He's like, I didn't say what he was best at, which I'm just like, you said he was your best mechanic, but whatever. So Kaz is hanging out with Marcus, and Marcus is like, well, I need you to fix this, this, and this, and Kaz obviously has no idea how to do it, and the brother obviously sees that, so he starts doing it, and instead of being like, yo, let me teach you, let me show you, so that way I don't have to do it and you can do it, they're just like, let's talk about life. Let me tell you my life story, and let me explain to you why me and Yeager don't talk to each other anymore. So he's just like, yo, basically what happened was I wanted to beat my brother, and so I used that fuel that I mentioned, like, 5 episodes ago, the one with Elijah Wood, some fuel that's very, like, it blows up, and he's like, I didn't expect it to be that catastrophic, when it's like, everyone talks about how dangerous this fuel is, but whatever, logic, again, out the window. So, he's like, I used this, and I ended up destroying Yeager's ship, and it was this big crash, and it caused all this drama between us. And Kaz's like, well, I know that Yeager had, like, a family and stuff. He's like, oh, you knew about them? Well, yeah, it caused all these problems, and now me and Yeager don't talk, and we won't race each other. And Yeager left, and I've been searching for him for years, and now I finally found him, and I want my brother back in my life. And he's like, and I need to win this money. And so Kaz, being the idiot that he is, he's just like, oh, let me believe every single shady person that comes into this ship, which he does in every episode. He always takes the shady person's side. He's like, oh, all right, well, you know, Yeager is this very trustworthy, wise old man that's taken me in. Let me believe this shady guy that Yeager doesn't trust. So he goes off, and he's like, let me go talk to Yeager. So Yeager's there, working on his ship. He's like, yo, Yeager, you need to, like, talk to your brother. You need to forgive your brother. And Yeager's just like, homeboy, say what? You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about my brother. And he's like, well, he wants to make things right with you. He's like, bro, you've known my brother for like 5 minutes. I've known my brother my entire life. My brother did some shady stuff. He's the reason my family is gone. He is the reason my life fell apart. And you want me to forgive him? You don't know what you're talking about. And Kaz is just like, you don't understand. He's a good person. He's changed. He's like, bro, you didn't even know my brother. You don't know that he's changed. And so then Kaz goes off and Yeager's like, I'm going to go race. So they're going in the race. Again, since the first episode, this is the first time we've seen people freaking race in a show about racing. Oh my gosh. Plot logic. Alright, so Kaz goes up so he can go watch the race. And so Yeager's, their ships are all coming down and his brother is talking to him before they start the race. And he's like, brother, you don't understand, I need this. And Yeager's like, no, you're the reason I don't have a family. You know, you always do this. You always want something and then you always do something stupid that ruins it. And you caused this rift between us. And now I'm going to show everyone that you are a phony and I am going to beat you. Because you can talk this big talk, but you can't walk the walk. And so he's just like, but you don't understand. People's lives are riding on this. I need to win. And Igor's like, you know what? If you beat me, then you beat me, but you're not going to beat me. And so then they start off the race. This is one interesting character that they introduced that has no lines whatsoever. It shows all of the different ace pilots that are going to be racing. There's this one. I honestly think he was an ex-stormtrooper or he killed people. It's literally like this big dude. You don't see his face because he's wearing this old stormtrooper like beaten up helmet. He's got the Empire tattooed on his arms and he's really yoked. And he's got like the ripped off shirt and whatnot. And he's like fighting this really beat up old ship, but he looks dangerous. I'm just like, oh my god, this is like Mad Max. But interesting character. Is in the movie or the show for like 5 minutes, but it doesn't have any lines. But it's a great character design. Props to whoever designed that dude. So anyway, they start out the race. Guess who's, so the brother's kind of winning. He's kind of in the lead. They're doing banter. Everyone's talking about how, so the way that you race, it's over the ocean, and there's these rings that the pilots have to fly through, and they're at all these weird angles, and they're moving. So basically how you determines who's in the lead is who goes through the, loops first. So you gotta follow this path, and then, you know, they're doing banter back and forth, and then they're like, oh, it's all getting exciting, and then there's this one, you have to go leave the atmosphere, you go through the loop, and it, like, turns off your engines, so you have to go through the loop, then you have to fall back into the atmosphere, and you have to go through another ring, and if you miss the ring, your engines will not turn back on, and your ship will crash into the ocean, you'll basically die. So, I was like, oh my gosh, if they don't do this right, they're gonna die. Yoked out Mad Max, stormtrooper is like beating everyone out of the way so he can go and, like, you know, he's really shady, so he's gonna beat everyone so he can get into the loop and make everyone else crash. So there's an obstacle right there. He's not afraid to play dirty. Interesting character. Most interesting character in this damn show. But whatever. So they're debating, and the brother's really trying to, like, talk to you. He's like, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean it. If I could go back, I would change it. You just don't understand. I need this. My alien friend, if I don't win this money, he'll die. First time he freaking tells his brother. So Yeager's just like, all right, and they're all racing. They're neck to neck, and then he's just like, you know what? You need this. He takes off and flies off to the side. Brother wins the race, gets the money, gets his alien friend back, and then they're just like, you know what? We're cool now. Yeah, we're cool. I've been searching the galaxy for you, brother, and finally, you know, we're gonna mend things. We're gonna make things work. Yeager's just like, you know what, brother? You're learning. Yeah. Stay out of trouble. And I'm glad to have you back in my life. Brother says bye, takes off. Then Yeager says to Kaz, you know what? You said one intelligent thing, and that's that I need to, you know, if I don't forgive someone, I need to learn forgiveness so that way we can move on, because if you don't learn to forgive someone, then nothing changes and everything just stays bad. So I made the move to make things better. And then Kaz was like, I said that? And you was like, yeah, not in so many words, but basically he kind of giving Kaz the credit for getting that in his head that he needs to learn forgiveness. And you know, Yeager's a very wise person, so he is going to take that and he's going to put his grudges aside and forgive his brother in a little bit of a capacity to make things better. And it is very hard, and I know from having, you know, siblings, and we do not get along very well. I mean, there's very few things that we all agree on, but when you can see that your sibling is making a really decent and it seems genuine effort to earn your forgiveness, it is very hard to tell unless you really freaking hate them and they do something horrible. But even then, it's like they're your siblings, so you have to. It's kind of part of being a sibling. You have to eventually forgive them. But anyway. That was the episode. Had nothing to do with the plot. It was all about character building. Kaz did not do any searching for a spy. There was nothing there. They had no mention to the previous episode or what was going on with the First Order and everything. So 100% character building episode for Yeager. I don't know why they keep building up other characters instead of building up the main character. These other characters seem monumentally more important to the plot than the main character does. Like I said in the beginning, he kind of just stumbles through things and makes things happen, and the plot relies all on other characters for the intelligent conversations and for the depth and meaning that the show is searching for. So this episode wasn't horrible, but as far as what they're going for, I don't understand the points that they're trying to do. But you know what? That is what it is. This is the show that we're getting, and I don't have to like it. Other people might like it, but I mean, I don't understand the logic, but they put the money in, and this is what they're getting. If they, at the end of the day, if the people that worked on this go home and say, you know what, I put the work in and I'm proud of it, then great for them. I don't think this is something to be proud of, but you know what? It's their life, not mine. This, to me, is not Star Wars. This is Disney's version of Star Wars. When I think about Star Wars, I'm going to think about Luke Skywalker. I'm going to think about Princess Leia. I'm going to think about Darth Vader and Han Solo and The Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, and Return of the Jedi. Those are Star Wars to me. This is not. This is the knockoff bargain basement version of it. That being said, everyone, have a great rest of your day. And may the Force be with you, because we are going to need it.